Is it important to think strategically about knowledge exchange and research impact? Why?
Yes, I think it is important to think about those things strategically. The obvious answer is because we are required by many of the funding councils and by the research evaluation framework to think about those things and to prepare for them. But I think the much more important answer is not that the strategy is required because of these external pressures or drivers, but rather because, as we discovered from the last REF exercise and the production of the impact case studies for the first time, actually there's huge amounts of work that are going on that fit under these agendas, but which academics have not in the past thought of in terms of knowledge exchange or impact. And it's making as a matter of routine the capture of those kinds of activities so that we can record them, we can publicise them, and the strategic part, I think, comes also in all our future bids for funding and carrying out research can bear those features in mind of knowledge exchange and impact so that they can be built in from the start. These are not things that happen overnight. They're things that need preparation and planning and partnerships and so on. That it's much best if you build those in from the beginning of the research process.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks. What are the challenges in developing and managing a knowledge exchange and impact strategy for a department?
For the challenges, that's quite a lot. Departments, if they have something like a research committee or a group that looks strategically at the development of research, the ensuring that staff have enough time to do research, and so on. Those kinds of organisational practices are one of the main ways to deal with the challenges, which are simply keeping up with who's doing what, making sure that particularly early career colleagues from doctoral studies onwards know what knowledge exchange and impact are facilitated and trained adequately in building those dimensions into their research practice. And then when it comes to activities like building connections with the wider public engagement, influencing policy, perhaps working alongside an enterprise or business, the track record of a department can be advertised, as it were, and built on in those relationships so that it becomes cumulative. You have a track record of what you've done in these areas from the past, and that then helps you to build relationships with new partners external to the university.
Mm. Right, thanks. How can a department monitor and judge the success of a knowledge exchange and impact strategy?
I think it can do that in a number of ways. Whilst there are, of course, differences between departments, at least within divisions, it's probably sensible if there is a common framework, at least, as to how these things are evaluated, or each individual department spends large amounts of time trying to invent their own evaluation criteria. So I think there the division can really help. But equally, there are variations in particular departments, and I think that it's focusing on that as part of a larger departmental research strategy, coming up with, through consultation with colleagues at all career stages in the research community, is identifying the things that that particular community, a departmental community, thinks matter, thinks are the benchmarks in their own field. Ours is, for example, quite a broad discipline. We cover natural and social sciences, and so it's important that a diversity of criteria are developed in consultation with the community, and that those are then advertised so that everybody knows what they are and are helped to deliver where they're relevant to their own research.
Mm. And looking towards the next 5 years, what would be important to take into account when developing and reviewing departmental impact strategies?
I think it's important to have it included in a group, whether it's a committee or a group of another name, connected with the research strategy and agenda of that department more broadly, and making sure that knowledge exchange and impact are part of that broader research strategy and the support mechanisms that a department puts in place. I think it's very important that we bear in mind that knowledge exchange and impact are not outcomes in and of themselves that are the primary reason why we do research. They go alongside doing world-class research and should be dimensions of doing that. But if you don't do the world-class research, impact and exchange are very much lesser value.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Thank you.